Welcome back to YIR in Review. We'll be briefly talking about the games I did not get a chance to cover. This is not a review and is not part of my First Impressions series. With that out of the way, let's get started. Rogue Legacy 2, after being in the Early Access program for about 2 years, is finally out on Steam, and hot damn, it's good. This game is really good. More importantly, it is a massive improvement over the original. Don't get me wrong, the original was fine for what it was. It came out at a good time for roguelites when people weren't getting sick of them yet, and it had a lot of cool ideas that a lot of games weren't trying out at the time, mainly the trait system. Basically, when you died, your legacy continues into another character that adapts certain traits that can be beneficial or harmful to you, or both. This was something totally new, and a lot of people liked mechanics like that, but the general gameplay wasn't very strong in my opinion. Sure, it had a lot going on for it, but the actual combat and platforming just didn't feel very good to me. Still a cool game though, but it never grabbed my attention due to the loose gameplay feel. Fast forward 9 years to the 1.0 release of Rogue Legacy 2, Jesus, time flies, and the improvements made over Rogue Legacy 1 are tremendous. Rogue Legacy 2 is such an improvement that there is now no reason to go back to the first game. Everything has either been expanded or improved to a degree where it almost feels like a totally different game now. The controls are better, the animation is better, the visuals are better, there are more mechanics for the town, there's a bit of an underlying story going on, a bit more dialogue to add character to the game world, but what's really impressive is how the game managed to grab me. The more I played the game, the more I enjoyed it. The game has a great sense of pacing and building up challenge. You'll suck a bit at the start, yeah, sure, but as you improve your character and understand enemy patterns, you'll get better and faster at playing it. Now, of course, there is the caveat of it being a roguelite RPG. You do get better as you understand enemy patterns and gameplay mechanics, but you do have progression that ties into how much damage you do and how much health you have, which is only improved upon by dying. And I understand that a lot of people hate that because it's not necessarily your skill that's improving, just the amount of grinding and dying you do to raise your stats to eventually defeat a powerful enemy or last longer, and therefore you're not really beating the game with your own skill. And I get that, but Rogue Legacy 2 doesn't really suffer from that problem like the first game did. Firstly, the pacing and balance is good enough that you're not going to be hitting a wall early on. The game has set progression flags whereby you need to do certain challenges to get a key item in order to progress. These items are kept between your playthroughs and they expand your kit. And yeah, it sucks not having these items early on because they're locking a lot of critical mechanics behind the game, like being able to dash while you're in the air. But it works in the game's favor because you'll be blasting through early levels once you're decked out, and the challenges help you get a feel of your level of progression in the game and whether or not you're ready to go to the next area. Secondly, the class system is really fun in this game. You'll want to actually unlock new classes and mess around with them because you'll end up enjoying the game a lot more, even if you're kind of at a disadvantage early on at the start when you don't have a lot of stats for your characters. By the time I unlocked the Assassin, one of my favorite classes so far, I didn't have that grind gold mentality like I did in the first game, because even though grinding gold was helped by using characters with traits that give you drawbacks but also gold bonuses, by the time I got the Assassin I was relying more on my own skills rather than the grinding aspect of, boosting my stats. But I had fun playing characters to grind with and playing characters to progress with in this game. I really did. I do recommend that about an hour in, once you've gotten the hang of the controls and some of the enemy patterns, you start unlocking classes rather than what the developers want you to unlock, such as health and damage upgrades for these classes. I mean, you should do that anyway, but if you're really not feeling the game at first, get those classes unlocked and mess around and experiment, and you will enjoy the game significantly more, even if you die more. Anyway, this game is really good, and I'm gonna go back to playing it in between videos. In fact, I actually might play it as soon as I'm done reading the script. Don't be surprised if you see it again in another video coming up at the end of this month. Stay tuned for that. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.